What's going on, everybody? It is Nexus Complex, and this is the RPL Season 2 wrap-up episode. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the table, take a look at the final standings for the season, look at the top 3 Pokemon in terms of the MVP race, and briefly preview the matchups for the playoffs that are taking place ASAP. Before I get into all that, though, I just wanted to say I really enjoy being a part of this league. There's a great group of people within this league, and it makes it a lot of fun to be a part of. Sometimes being in a draft league can feel like a chore to try to knock out the games, and this didn't really do that. I was looking forward to playing the games as much as possible, and the league was really fun, which is what you want. You want a league to be fun. When you're doing something like this as like a pastime, as a hobby, you want it to be enjoyable, and that's what this league was, and you can't ask for more than that. Shout out to everybody in the league, man. This you all are super cool. I couldn't ask for a greater group of people to be in a league with, and this is my first draft league. This is the second season of that draft league, and you guys have been more than accommodating, and you have made this a lot of fun for me, and you have taught me a lot through beating me down in games and me winning the occasional game. You guys have taught me a lot, so appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you all next season in RPL Season 3. We have a whole bunch of new Pokemon to play around with, so I am looking forward to that. Getting into the final standings. In 12th, we had the Toronto Blue Jays. They were not able to play all their games. They had to take 4 forfeit losses. Things just came up. They weren't able to play. Sucks. I was really interested to see how they finished the year. They had a pretty interesting team. They finished the year with 1 win, 10 losses, 25 knockouts, 62 feints, good for a negative 37 differential. In 11th, we have the Texas Toros, led by the Nuzlocke King. They finished the season with 2 wins, 9 losses, 36 KOs, and 62 feints. If my math is correct, that is negative 26. In 10th, we had Blue Fire and the Toronto Talonflames. They finished the season at 3-8. 28 KOs, 55 feints, negative 19 differential on the year. In 9th, the Chicago Chandelures. 4 wins, 7 losses, 34 KOs, 53 feints, negative 28 differential. In 8th, in the last available playoff spot, we have Lemon Boy and the Thespian Thievals. They finished the year 4-7, 34 knockouts, 51 feints, negative 17 differential. Their differential was slightly better than Chicago Chandelures, which is why they get into the playoffs. In 7th, we have the Baron Munchlax and Finky. Finky finishes 4-7, came on strong at the end of the year to finish with a negative 12 differential. 44 KOs, 56 feints. They have locked up the 7th seed, which means they have a tough matchup in the first round, as they will play the 2 seed. In 6th is yours truly and the New York Nidokings. We finished the season 6-5 due to the forfeit from Jazzy's side, so we pick up the win there. We got a +6. With that +6, our differential wound up being 0. Without that, we were -6, so slightly in the negative there. But we finished 6-5, which is good for the 6th seed. We will be playing the 3 seed, Rivet, in the Atlanta Braviaries in the playoffs. In 5th, we have Nico and the Stupid Slowbros. They also finished 6-5, but they finished with 56 kills, 44 feints for +12 differential, locking up the 5 seed. They will play the number 4 seed, Sydney Cinderace. They're led by Sucking Pigeons, aka the Rising Voltage God, who finished 7-4 with 43 KOs, 43 feints, a 0 differential. As already briefly mentioned, number 3 was Rivet and the Atlanta Braviaries. They finished with a very good record of 8-3, 57 KOs, 34 feints, +23 differential in the year. Obviously a good team. In number 2 is Turt and the Majestic Gardevoirs. They finished with an outstanding record of 10-1, 64 KOs, 24 feints, plus 40 differential. Their only loss on the season came to the number 1 seed for the regular season, the K1 Geisterstar, led by Lonnie. They finished with a perfect 11-0 record, 66 KOs, 25 feints, plus 41 differential. Both of those teams at the top just had ridiculous seasons. And, I mean, honestly, at this point, if I was a betting man, I would have to say that those two are the odds-on favorites to lock up in the championship to see who is the best. Now we're going to briefly look at the 3 Pokemon that finished at the top of the MVP standings. Finishing third is Darmanitan Galar. Darmanitan was drafted first overall by the Stupid Slowbros. They played in all 11 of Nico's games, notching 15 knockouts. They fainted 7 times, earning a plus 8 differential on the season. One of the top killers, and you would expect nothing less of a Pokemon drafted at the top of the draft to finish third here. Very good season by Darmanitan, and I'm sure Nico is going to try to utilize them to go further into the playoffs. Finishing second, no surprise here, Dragapult. Dragapult is a great competitive Pokemon, and they played for one of the best coaches in the league. They were drafted second overall. They played in 10 of the games this season. In those 10 games, they got 16 knockouts. They only fainted 5 times for a plus 11 differential in the season. That is very good for one Pokemon. And when you're looking at the stats there, they accounted for a quarter of the differential in K1's favor. So they had a plus 41. Dragapult was 11 of those. That is very good, but just not good enough to become the MVP. The MVP, and as far as I know, the first official RPL MVP is Jirachi. Jirachi was drafted 16th overall by the Majestic Gardevoirs, led by Turt. They played in 10 games. They also got 16 knockouts, but they only fainted 3 times, giving them a slightly better differential on the season of plus 13, just slightly edging out Dragapult to become the MVP. So congratulations to Turt and the Majestic Gardevoirs. I'm sure that you're going to utilize Jirachi to try to make a even further run into the playoffs and just add some more knockouts to Jirachi's list. So congratulations to all 3 coaches that had the top 3 Pokemon. You utilized them well, and it's no surprise that all 3 of the Pokemon that finished in the top of the MVP race are also Pokemon that are on teams in the playoffs. Now, briefly looking into the playoffs, in our first playoff matchup, we have the number 1 seed, K1, led by Lonnie, against Lemon Boy and the Thespian Thieves in the number 8 seed. Obviously, Lonnie won their first matchup, being undefeated. In the first matchup, K1 was able to win 3-0 against Lemon Boy. I'm sure Lemon Boy is going to be trying to do everything in his power to try to pick up a win and pull off the upset going into the second round of the playoffs. Our second matchup puts Turt and the Majestic Gardevoirs against number 7 seed Finky and the Baron Munchlax. In the first matchup, the Majestic Gardevoirs took the victory 2-0. I'm sure that the MVP Jirachi is going to be instrumental in this best of 3, and I'm sure Finky is trying to come up with ways to get around that. I'm very interested in this matchup, as I am in all the playoff matchups. Third matchup is number 3 Rivet and the Atlanta Braviaries against the number 6 seed New York Nidokings. In the first matchup, Rivet handled me quite easily, 5-0, in what was probably my worst game of the season. Rivet did not have a Pokemon that finished in the top 3 of the MVP race, but they have a very, very good team, and I am looking forward to trying to redeem my horrible showing earlier in the season. And our last matchup is the Rising Voltage God himself, Sucking Pigeons, the number 4 seed, coach of the Sydney Cinderace, against the number 5 seed Nico and the Stupid Slowbros. These two teams just very recently played in Game 10 of the season. with the Sydney Cinderace narrowly winning 1-0. So this should be a very good matchup. We'll see if the Stupid Slowbros and Darmanitan Galar can get some more knockouts on the list and move on to the second round. So good luck to all the coaches in the playoffs. Again, another thank you to all the coaches in the league for making it so cool and such an enjoyable league to be a part of. And yeah, good luck to everybody going forward. And I will catch you guys on the next one. This is Nexus Complex, out.